So let us just take a minute to think about this Tarzan and the apes. Tarzan finds himself in the jungle, alone, surrounded by apes. And day after day, he begins to see the differences, and he begins to realize that he's not an ape. Meanwhile, the apes, busy, have their own agenda. They're busy building an atomic bomb. And so Tarzan, disgusted with the apes, begins to notice I too feel like I'm talking without being heard. I'm talking at people. Even really uber intelligent people still have the normalcy bias as though it's the 1950s. When given the task, which society would be the best, we have to go all the way back to Pluto, to Plutonian psychology. Nothing good has came in the last, millennium. That's the best we can do is plutocracy. Meanwhile, Tarzan is starting to notice that the apes are over there building anthrax delivery mechanisms and drones. Tarzan starts to notice that the apes are leaving a lot of pollution all over the frickin' place. Pretty soon the jungle's going to be uninhabitable. Tarzan starts to notice that assholes are playing with nuclear weapons. Sociopaths are in charge of the button. But, Tarzan has the least to lose. He's unemployed. He has no possessions. He owns no property. He doesn't have to take any chance by, actually having a relationship with an ape. No, that would be too scary. The other person might look inside them and see that they're actually void. They're black and empty. There's nothing inside there. There's nothing to love. How can you love when there's nothing to love? Better to have some sort of fallacy about the way the world works and have a lovable iota in your being than to have a complete mastery of the universe but be about as lovable as a sea urchin. So yes, I believe that Tarzan would plot their destruction. As Tarzan left the jungle, he acquired his own weapons. He went back to the jungle and he shot all those stupid apes that were about to blow up a nuclear bomb. And I think it's funny that whenever anybody talks about a topic, therefore they're cheerleading for it. So if you're concerned about pollution, therefore you love pollution. If you're concerned about a car, speeding at excessive speed down the highway, that means that your parents were bad genetics and that you dream about racing a car down the highway. That's your dream. If you're worried about running out of gas on a long trip, it's because you worship running out of gas. You want to run out of gas. If you feel you need to go to the grocery store to get some food, that's because you worship getting food. You worship not having food. It's your goal to not have food. If you're concerned about running over a big nail in the parking lot, you worship the nail. You want a flat tire. In other words, every time someone ever brings up anything that's uncomfortable to people that are ignorant, especially highly devolved people that are ignorant, they automatically assume it's your bad genes. It's your parents. Your mother's a slut. Even though she never had sex with any other man besides her husband, my dad, but she's a slut too somehow. All women are sluts. They're all bad. They're all filth. Because we got the short end of the stick. Either our penis is too short, or for some reason, we just don't get along. We can't find a common ground, being that they're apes and I am the almighty Tarzan. No. By removing myself and saying I'm not an ape, then I'm not responsible. Then I have no responsibility. It lacks courage. It would take courage to be an ape, to live amongst them. So clearly Tarzan is there to take. Tarzan's not there to give. Tarzan's not there to contribute. Tarzan's there to distinguish all of the genetic malformed apes within the group. It's Tarzan's job to point out their weaknesses and stupidity. It's Tarzan's job to set himself higher so that he could be aloof and smile. Just aloof and smile. Everything's fine. And we're not going to worry about any crackpots that are worried about the end of the world. There's been the end of the world for the last 1,000 years. There's been lots of people saying the end of the world. Okay, well, let me just help you with that, okay? Some guy in the Middle Ages talking about the end of the world compared to somebody that has their finger on a freaking nuclear button is a big difference, dude. Okay? Completely different. 65 years ago, you could have talked about the end of the world and you might have had something to say. Apparently, Einstein was pretty concerned about it too. But apparently, Einstein had bad genes. He had bad parents, a slutty mother, And it's really low. It's like, I can't argue with anything intelligent. So what I'm going to do is start talking about eugenics and how your parents were pieces of crap. Weak, 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 weak. You have no leg to stand on. It's so much easier to go out and bark about how bad everybody is than it is to really examine ourselves. Oh, no, but I've examined myself. I'm Tarzan. I'm not an ape. I'm special. I'm different. I'm above. They're excluded. They're not part of my team, those damn apes. And let's talk about the apes. Okay, so he's sitting around. The apes are developing nuclear weapons. They're pointing them at each other. They're threatening each other all the time. Oh, boy. If Tarzan were to ever say anything, then Tarzan worships the bomb. What a bunch of backwards thinking. I would say that you're just irritated. You're irritated because other people connect with the apes and you don't. I'm wondering if it's maybe kind of a sociopathic thing, that lack of empathy. If a man saw a woman being beat by a stranger, he would see it as though it was a dog. He would need the backstory. He would need to know more, whether he should pull his courage out of his back pocket and rise to the occasion to be a shining knight to stop something. And justice? There's no justice in the world! Really? I thought that was all about being human. Was being able to be able to determine the difference between injustice and justice. If there's a winner, there's always a loser. That's such a duality, man. Part of justice is being fair. Now, is life fair? No, but we're not amoebas, man. We're human beings. We're supposed to be striving for fairness. That's the idea of it. That's what a relationship is all about, is trying to see the other person for their good values. But you know what? It's far easier to sit back in our chair and Monday night quarterback everyone else's psychology by just throwing them out the window. It's all bad. It's all hogwash. The person that believes in doomsday is either this way or that way. That's it. There are two possibilities. There is no other. I've examined them. I'm Tarzan. I know better. These apes are confused. Don't put me in the same pot as the apes. Heaven forbid. It's a bunch of arrogant, sociopathic hogwash. Hogwash. The bottom line is there are some pretty powerful assholes that can blow us all up. One person's pointing that out, okay? It doesn't mean that they worship that shit. It just means that there are other assholes out there that you gotta monitor. And as far as being aloof and smiling at the world, what a chicken shit. Just a completely scared little boy. I'm scared. I just think it's funny and I'm going to smile. There's nothing to smile about. It's not funny. That aloofness is just fear. You can aloof yourself right into a room with the door locked. I'm aloof. I'm in the room. I'm untouchable. I don't have to feel anything. Why? Oh, well, because of some ancient psychology that's still relevant today. I studied a checker game that I lost a few years ago, and I'm not ready to play checkers again because I lost. I'm sorry that you lost, dude. I'm sorry that, something happened to you where, you just don't have that warm and fuzzy feeling for anyone, including yourself, man. This whole concept with the Tarzan and the apes, that's a predisposition that you believe you're Tarzan. Fact is, you're an ape. You're an ape, dude. Tarzan's somebody else. Tarzan is somebody else. There are far more people sitting in their rooms, bitter and aloof, than there are people out there challenging things. So if somebody comes to you with a concept that you don't understand, what you can do is just say, oh, it's eugenics. It's the way the guy was raised. Where was his parents? He's thinking crazy stuff. It's crazy to me because I don't understand it. I wasn't aware. I was too busy worried about feminism to notice that people have nuclear weapons pointed at us. But you know what? Oh, that's just a cheerleader for the end of the world. Hey, dude, they got a bunch of missiles pointed at us. They're threatening to shoot. Oh, that's just a bunch of death worship. You know, what about the Jews in World War II? Hey, man, they're rounding all you guys up, man. They're putting you in ovens. Oh, you worship that. No, I'm just telling you. Oh, no, you either hate yourself or you have bad genetic makeup. Why would you even point out those nasty little ovens? Because it's an observation, man. You know what? That makes you a kook, though. And I'll live with the term kook because I don't fit in. You're right. I don't fit in. I don't sit around and use my powers of psychology to masturbate over how I'm Tarzan. Okay? I'm not Tarzan. I'm one of the apes. Yep. Just a dumb ape with a bad, slutty parents. Everyone falls into that bracket. You know what? I figured it out. I can just peg people. This guy is a death cult person. This guy is a feminist. This guy's an MRA. They're either this, or that. There's only 6 categories. That's it. There's no gray. It's black or white. I'm all about duality. You know what, though? But let me talk out the other side of my mouth and castigate all you guys who believe in dualism. Let me say one thing and then say something else, and to the point it's so convoluted. Hey, dude, you're not even making sense anymore. But you know what? That's cool. I'm aloof. I just sit back and observe and smile. It's not a sign of maturity, dude. It's just not. I don't know.
Hey, lady, yo, bite, don't come to bite. Hey, no. Kamu jauh, tu wira. Kau boleh lari, kita pasal. Kau mila, kita pasal. Tu wira. Ah! Oh boy, matou um boy. Maro, você